Hey everyone, it's time to eat again, and we want you to think low and slow for your next cookout. And helping us out today is one whole brisket. While smoking a brisket is a fairly easy endeavor, to make it even easier, we're just going to trim a little and not worry too much about the fat cap. Basically, I try to remove some of the less beautiful looking edges to expose the red meat inside. Don't go crazy with trimming because the fat on top really keeps everything nice and juicy. Also, the fat cap is absolutely delicious. This is a 12-pound brisket, and I removed about 0.8 pounds of fat and meat just trimming up the edges. Next, we need to create a dry rub for the brisket. I used 68 grams of table salt, 16 grams of ground black pepper, 8 grams of garlic powder, 8 grams of smoked paprika, 2 grams of chili flakes, and a half teaspoon of cayenne powder. Next, evenly distribute the dry rub all over the entire brisket. Wrap the brisket up and put it in the fridge for at least 24 hours to let the flavors permeate the meat. Mine was in the fridge for 4 days. We are going to use the snake method to smoke the brisket in a Kettle grill. Place the charcoal in a ring 2x2 almost all the way around. Do not use matchlight charcoal for this because they will likely burn out way faster, make your food taste like gasoline, and not achieve the low and slow effect we are going for. Make sure you do not make a full circle or your low and slow might become hot and fast. Place wood chips on top of the ring of charcoal and then place an additional 2 coals on top of that, all the way around. The wood chips should not touch because the wood chunks burn faster than charcoal and may cause the snake to burn faster. I am using mesquite wood chips, but use any kind that you prefer. In the middle of the grill, place an aluminum pan with some water. This will catch the fat drippings from the meat and reduce the amount of cleanup time. Light 2 coals on fire and set those on one end of your charcoal snake. These 2 coals will start the fuse and start the grill, delivering a steady, slow heat for the next 6 to 8 hours. When starting, I have both the top and bottom vents fully open to get the fire going. After about 20 minutes, you will see the first wisps of smoke coming from the first wood chip. Even if your grill is not yet up to temperature, we can place the brisket on the rack. Place the grill lid back on with the vent opposite to the lit coals to draw the smoke over the meat as it burns. We will adjust the vents to achieve a constant 210 to 225 degrees Fahrenheit inside of the grill. Opening the vents wider will increase the heat, and closing the vents will reduce the heat. If the target temperature of 210 to 225 degrees cannot be reached even with the vents wide open after about an hour, add more charcoal to the burning end of the snake and additional pieces throughout the snake so that the temperature can be maintained throughout the cooking process. Once the temperature is reached, we are only going to come back and check every hour to hour and a half over the next 4 hours. For the first 4 hours at temperature, we don't even need to open the lid. All I need to do is come back every hour to feel for the hot spot by hovering my hand an inch or 2 away from the bottom half of the grill to find the hot spot. The top vent just needs to be opposite of the hot spot. After 4 hours, the brisket will achieve a beautiful red color. Now every hour to an hour and a half, I will apply apple juice to the surface of the brisket using either a spoon or a silicone brush in addition to rotating the lid. The total amount of apple juice I used came up to about 2/3 of a cup. After about 6 to 7 hours of smoking, we also need to check how far along the charcoal snake is. Based on how much of the snake has burned away and turned into ash, and how many hours have passed, you should be able to guess how many more pieces of charcoal and wood chips you need to complete the cook. Simply use your tongs to add this to the grill. Following the rule of 1 hour per pound, I started checking for doneness starting 11 hours after the grill came up to temperature. We are looking for an internal temperature of 185 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit when we pull it off of the heat. The brisket will slowly rise to the 195 degrees target temperature as you sit and wait out the 1 hour for the brisket to rest. I let my charcoal snake burn out after 8 hours of smoking, since smoke flavor is best absorbed in the first 4 to 6 hours anyway. I finished the brisket in the oven at 225 degrees the next day, just in time for lunch. And finally, it's time to slice and taste the results of hours of waiting. As we slice, you can see the red smoke ring all around. Really, this is hardly any work. Turning the grill lid a few inches every hour or so shouldn't be considered hard at all. The brisket is smoky, beefy, and juicy, and with all the collagen melted, there couldn't possibly be anything better for a cookout. And here we have surf and turf Maryland style, simply blue crabs with Old Bay, a nice cool coleslaw, 2 thick slabs of smoky, juicy, tender, and fatty beef brisket, and a soft dinner roll. If you enjoyed that, get out there and fire up your grill. There isn't a moment of time to waste, 'cause it's time to eat again.